whoa. I'm tired of stepping on all the pieces of your animated Dresden figurines, Brandon. What the fuck is
What are you talking about? They should be stepping out of your way.
They're not stepping out of the way. They're leaving behind little pieces of ceramic everywhere they go. They're not solid enough to be walking around and hopping on these floors.
Well, maybe if you don't roll over them all the time, maybe they wouldn't be chipping off pieces and whatnot.
Why do we live with 500 Dresden figurines?
Because we got a damn animation room, Marble. I told you this. If we got something, we should use it. I can make money off this.
But then are you going to sell some of these Dresden figurines?
Of course not. They're my family. Would you sell your family? Would you sell me?
No, but that's different because I didn't...
That's different. These are living beings now. You were once an inanimate object, and look at you. What if somebody sold you to the highest bidder?
Well, I mean, but that's what you're gonna do about other stuff, so what's different about these ones? And they're kind of clogging up the house.
What are you talking about?
Look around, Brandon. There's Dresden figurines everywhere. There's like 16 going up and down the stairs at any given moment.
Well, Baby David Singh needed some friends, so, I gotta make some figurines for him, and, we got a room in our house that reanimates things and gives them souls and consciousnesses. I don't know how it works.
But have you even seen Baby David Singh since he started reanimating all this shit?
What are you trying to say?
I can't find him! I don't know where he is!
You don't know where your son is?
Don't you even talk to me about where my son is.
He's up in his room playing with the Bionicle that I reanimated for him.
Bionicle?
His name's Bio.
Why'd you reanimate Bionicle?
Because I love Bionicles.
But they're like robots! They turn evil!
They're not evil.
Anybody can be evil.
Well, I never considered that any of these things I'm reanimating could be evil. They seem harmless enough other than the, random thumbtacks I find lying around and, all the ceramic you've been around. This might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, I told you this morning our toilet was covered in saran wrap like a prank, and when I went up there to take a shit, I jumped up on it and it was smeared poop on the saran wrap.
You pooped on the saran wrap?
I didn't know it was there. There was already shit coming out of my ass when I hopped up on a toilet, and there just happened to be saran wrap there, and I pushed, and it smeared on the saran wrap. It got all over me. I had to go to the buffer, get myself some buffing.
You're telling me as a Marvel you have an actual biological anus?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's biological, but Dr. Xavier put a little pinhole back there, and now poop comes out.
Okay. I didn't know that. I thought I'd be fingering it a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's so small. He literally took the tip of a pin, like a pin that you put on your shirt. He heated it up with some lighter, a butane lighter. Heated up the tip and put it right up and created a little butt for me.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe we should take all these things and just put them back in the animation room and just kind of leave them there.
Oh, okay, like turn it into some sort of death prison.
Starve them out. I don't know if they gotta eat.
Oh, well, I mean, let's put some of the Dresden figurines in here.
We do got that meat grinder down in the basement.
Ooh.
We could just throw them in there.
Chop them up and grind them up.
Grind them up and then use the pieces and maybe mold them into something else, melt them, and then reanimate them again.
No, that's not a bad idea.
Make something that could be useful.
Mm-hmm. Turn them into like a little Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to be honest with you.
Let's go find Baby David Singh, take his Bionicle, and try it on that first.
Ow! Ow! My knees!
What are you doing?
My knees!
What are you doing?
I tried to get up, Tristan, my knees!
Why are you trying to stand, Agony? Sit down! You're not ready! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, they're backwards.
Oh no, this is not good.
Oh, my knees bend backwards.
Your knees are bent backwards. I think they're completely disconnected at this point. They're dangling.
Am I gonna be in a wheelchair, Tristan?
Well, honest to God, you should be.
How am I supposed to play Iago if I'm in a wheelchair?
Listen.
He's not paralyzed.
Listen, you gotta calm down for a second. I got a plan for this.
What is it?
You know how they gave Lieutenant Dan new legs?
Oh, yeah, of course I know how they gave Lieutenant Dan new legs.
We could just give you new legs.
Made out of space material?
Alloy, titanium alloy, the same thing they use in the space shuttles.
New legs. I could have new bionic legs made out of space materials.
Right. And listen, Let me just rub some of this topical
Ow,
cream.
ow,
Let me just rub some
ow,
of the topical
ow.
cream. You know you like it.
Well, I mean, it takes a second for the CBD infusion to kick in, but once it does, it actually does make the legs feel better.
Reduces the inflammation. I
does.
know it does,
It
and I know
does.
you like when I rub it a little higher up.
Oh,
too.
on my in between my thighs
Yeah,
and my
you know,
balls.
not on your balls.
No, not on my balls.
I'm not touching
Just
your
in
balls. I'm
between.
just right there,
Kind of
right,
grazing them.
right in the gooch,
Oh, yep, right there.
right there.
You wouldn't know that there's a lot of pain there, but whenever you rub this, it relieves a lot of tension in my life.
You got pain there? You want me to rub some more?
Yes, rub my gooch.
Okay. Now tell me your lines. You know, have you been going over them? How are you gonna be Iago?
I just, I'm hoping that nobody's gonna be stimulating my gooch on stage.
No,
'cause it's-
Iago has the energy of a man who had his gooch stimulated right
You're
before
right.
he did this.
You're right. Historically speaking,
Hold on. Circling the ass. Circling the ass back up to the gooch.
oh yeah, that lotion feels so good on my gooch. I do think that you're probably onto something here. If you keep stimulating my gooch properly, I think I could remember my lines.
Okay. Here we go. I'm rubbing.
Oh,
Let me squirt a little more out for you. Tell me your line.
there it is.
Tell me your next line.
I do hate him, I swear. 3 of Venice's most important noblemen took their hats off to him and asked him oh yeah, that's my gooch.
Keep going.
Asked him humbly to make me lieutenant. And I know my own worth well enough to know that I deserve that position, but he wants to have things his own way, so he sidesteps the issue. Am I doing that good? Am I
Listen,
getting the lines?
the first part wonderful. Go back halfway through
Let me see.
before he sidesteps.
Okay, right.
When I grab your fucking balls
he
and you
sidesteps.
say it with some balls.
He sidesteps the issue with a lot of military talk and refuses their request. I see what you did.
There you
I
go.
see what you did.
There you go. That was wonderful.
You're an incredible director, Tristan.
Thank you. It's a little, trying to think of the word for it.
Unconventional.
Unconventional. It's a little unconventional, but it works.
It does. And you know what?
Produces results.
What I appreciate more than anything is I know that after you squeezed my balls with all your might, I know you're going to rub them with your lotion to make them feel
course
good
I am.
again.
I already am.
Exactly. You're such a good, caring director to rub lotion like this.
Thank you. And you're one of the best actors I've ever worked with.
Thank you. I agree. I agree with you. I mean, you being one of the best actors that I've worked with. And, I just can't wait to get on that stage with my new legs and play Iago to your Othello.
Listen, I got something. You want to try something?
Yeah, let's do it.
You just do your makeup for how it would look?
Do you want me to try on my makeup?
You want me to put it on for you to see how you would look as Iago?
Yeah, let's do it.
Iago would definitely wear lipstick.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Well, here, let me
Puck your
fuck
lips. Puck your lips.
Tristan.
Eyeshadow.
Oh,
Eyeshadow.
pretty. I'm feeling very pretty. You want me to put on one of these wigs?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I think maybe like Iago might have like some long white hair. What do you think?
Blonde.
Blonde. Oh, okay. Like almost getting to the point where the color's leaving the hair.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like really. Okay, bleach
Exactly.
blonde. Okay. And now. Oh, Tristan! Oh, my ass! Oh!
Don't even think about it.
Oh my god!
Don't think about it too hard. Now look back at me.
Am I allowed to enjoy it, Tristan?
Of course you are. Puck your lips.
The doorbell's broken.
What?
The doorbell's broken.
Who?
Didn't you hear all that? It's supposed to go blah, 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 but then it went on forever.
Oh, well, maybe you should replace it. You're the man of the house.
I don't know much about doorbells. Not really sure. When you push the button, why does something inside the house make noise? Like, why not the button itself? That's what I don't really...
Because we wouldn't be able to hear it. The button's outside.
Well,
We have to hear it.
you're right.
If someone comes to the door...
See?
Oh, that's incredibly
I know.
annoying.
I know.
That's incredibly
Gotta get
annoying.
that fixed. But, I guess, perhaps we should open the door since I guess somebody...
Sure, you
Right.
open it. You're the man of the house.
Alright. Oh! I don't know who you are.
Hi, how you
Can I
doing?
help you?
Yeah, you're the new neighbor?
Oh, yeah,
You're the new neighbor?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're renting from Jerry.
Jerry? Oh, you know Jerry?
Yeah, you rent your house too?
No, we own our home.
Oh, nice.
Nice to meet you. My name's Clark Kent.
You're Clark Kent?
Of course.
Well, you're not going to believe this, but my name is also Clark. Clark
What?
County.
Clark County,
Nice to meet you.
Who is this beautiful woman you have with you? Is this your wife?
Yes, this is my lovely partner.
He put a ring on it. Nice to meet you, Clark. Look at it.
I proposed on New Year's Eve.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. You want to come over for dinner?
Beverly,
Oh.
she's already started making shepherd's pie 6 hours ago.
Shepherd's pie, we'd love to have it. Why don't I go get my wife and I'll bring her over here? We'll bake a pie.
You guys are okay? You'll come over and we'll have dinner at our house.
You're acting like you've never had dinner plans before.
Well, just not ones that come up to the door and...
That's what we do in this neighborhood, honey.
Oh,
That's what we
okay.
do.
Well, Clark, I'm excited
Clark?
for dinner. Yeah.
Can I shake your hand?
Of course, Clark.
Nice firm handshake.
Nice firm handshake from you, Clark.
Nice firm handshake. Yeah, blink at me.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be back.
Okay. Not sure what that was all about, but Beverly,
Seems like a nice young man.
I hope you made enough shepherd's pie for everybody.
Certainly didn't. When's the last time we've had anyone over for food?
Well, Christmas.
Is it rude if we just make our own? Well, you're right.
Wait, speaking of Christmas, is there any leftovers? They might not be too good at this point, but maybe you could put
How
together
long has it
like
been?
a
About 6 days?
leftovers casserole.
Yeah, we have some casserole in there, some old, ham, Christmas ham that we didn't eat.
Mhm.
We'll just slop that on a plate for them. We'll eat the shepherd's pie.
And we'll tell them that is shepherd's pie, what we
Okay.
give them, but then maybe they'll just think you don't know what shepherd's pie is.
Okay, I think that sounds like a good plan. That sounds like...
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. When's the last time we had neighbors we could be friends
Neighbors? Never. I've never communicated with my neighbors.
with? Well, you certainly act like it. Me and Jay used to know everybody on the block. You don't want to talk to anybody or have anyone over ever.
No, not really. I just like to be with you and with our family and friends and relaxing.
Well,
But, you're probably right. Now that we're back in New Springfield and starting over this new life, maybe we should, expand our horizons and get some new friends. I'm not the president of Goat Island anymore,
yeah.
Oh, God. Come in.
Hi, we're ready.
Hey,
Are you?
we're ready, Clark.
Melissa?
Melissa, nice to meet you.
My wife, Melissa.
Hi, Clark County. Did he tell you about our shared names?
She's mute.
She's signing frantically.
She's mute.
Well, sorry, I don't understand sign language, but you can come in.
No, you can speak to her. She can read lips.
Oh, well, I can't understand her, but you can come
Well,
in.
she's telling you hi. She's waving.
Oh, well, hi. Come on in, Clark and Melissa.
Thank you.
have a seat.
Gosh. Have you seen what they're doing
No,
on TV?
no.
All of this business about trying to free the sex gremlins? What kind of
Oh.
shit is this?
Well,
I mean, me and Melissa, we've lived on this block for going on 6 years now, and we've never seen a sex gremlin. And the other day, she saw one walking down the street. A couple of them.
Ooh,
Well. And I just think it's sick what they're doing.
what are they doing?
They're fucking in the streets. They're rapists. They're criminals. Some of them I don't even assume are good people. I've never met a sex gremlin I've wanted to be anywhere near me. They're gross. And thank God they got rid of Clark County. Fuck. Oh. You're not.
I'm the one that did
You're the...
I did the college, and
You support sex gremlins.
with all my heart, and you might actually do some good talking with Beverly because she used to be a sex gremlin racist too until she met Kristen.
I was, and listen, they're sick. They're sick creatures. But what's so different between them and you and me? Clark over here, not you, Clark Kent. Clark County over here, he jerks off my enormous clitoris like it's a penis.
Love it.
Loves it. I love it. He loves it. Why can't we do that in the streets like the sex gremlins?
Exactly.
Ooh, that's kind of sick. It's kind of sick, and we're going to remember this. And Next Door, the app Next Door?
Well, yeah.
I've already tweeted out to all the neighbors that you're sex gremlin supporters.
Oh my god, there's people gathering outside right now.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. We have an HOA, right?
No.
Those sex gremlins weren't coming to your house, were they?
Was it on Christmas?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was Kristen, and yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, you're coming with us.
Wait, what? Get your hands off me!
Come on.
You can't arrest me!
I'm getting them, honey.
Oh!
I spoke the entire time.
Melissa! Melissa!
Come with me, sir.
Hey, no. Beginning to
Yeah?
wonder.
What?
I've been hearing words through the sewers that maybe you had something to do with that hate crime.
What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Hey, get
Over
these.
here, what?
Hey, get these knees.
What about him? He's suffering.
Hey, get these knees.
Don't you want to put an end to hate crimes?
Well, of course I do. And I just want to say, what you did, fucking brilliant.
What?
Fucking brilliant.
How do you know I did it?
I'm Spinray, dude.
You think it was brilliant?
Thought it was brilliant.
You want me to do more stuff like it?
I want you to do more stuff like it, and I also want to make sure that you know that you have a place in Spinray's administration.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. We've got places
You're serious?
for you, Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense?
Or whatever you want, Secretary of the Treasury. Whatever it is that you
Do I
want.
have to be a secretary? Is that because I'm a woman?
No. You would be surprised at how misogynistic the titles in government are. But really, besides vice, assistant mayor, not much else I could offer you besides the secretary position. But I think this is brilliant, because we have been down here in the sewers ever since the closure of Clark County Community College for sex gremlins, and we've been trying to find some way to build up as much enthusiasm and support as what you did in one day.
Well, honest to God, what have you been doing? Because I went up there, they're fucking putting sex gremlins in jail. I mean, they're not putting them in jail, they're killing them in the streets. The people who hurt them are going to jail for half a second.
Yeah, and people are literally eating sex gremlins in the street, ripping them apart.
I know,
and
it's
eating
sick. I used to live here. We lived among them. We
I know.
tolerated them for a while, then we gave them I was there for all of that.
I know
And to come back and to see you let this happen? Listen.
No.
What?
I didn't let this happen.
What were you doing?
This happened slowly over time. Over time, this happened.
What were you
slowly.
doing during that time period, though?
Well, just being
We weren't gone
being
for
your
that long,
average
were we?
sex gremlin. 10 years at least.
Oh, my God.
10 years at least.
Oh, my God. That explains the new wrinkle I got. Listen, I'd like to be part of your administration, but we got to do things all differently.
Oh, 100% no, and I'm really interested to hear what ideas you've got.
Listen, we got to take things to a new level. Do you have a militia?
No,
You have no militia?
no militia. No, we just been putting on plays and shit down here in the sewers. Nobody comes to see them.
That's all you've been doing?
We're just trying to create a nice society down here. We've been ostracized. There's nothing we can really do up on top.
There's tons we could do. I bet we could go up right now and do something.
Like what?
What, are you afraid to go out?
Of course I'm afraid to go up on the top side. They eat us in the street and go to jail for less
Listen,
than a minute.
climb up that ladder right there and poke your head out the sewer.
That one right there.
Just poke it out, see what happens.
But this is my emergency, tunnel. I'm not supposed to go up this manhole unless somebody comes down here
I
to
guess
kill
I'm
me.
not the Secretary of Defense then, and you have no help from somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Listen, I've done revolts. I've done it. Have you seen my resume?
Yes.
I know you've been doing some digging down into me. They get the internet down here.
Of course we got the internet down here. It's Ethernet, but we got it.
We got it.
It's wired. I mean, really, you can't blame. You can't get much safer than a wired internet connection.
You
I'm
really
gonna be
can't.
honest. It just took a lot of cabling to get it down here.
A lot of the cabling, but you guys went up to get the cabling.
Yeah, we sent up a special crew. Only 3 of the 5 came back.
Listen, I think after what we did, it's not nearly as bad as you think. People
Alright.
are talking that, the polls are shifting a little bit. They feel bad for them.
Well, all right. I'll try it. But no, if I die, my death is on your hands. No.
Well, if you die, I'm taking over.
Okay. And then what do I do? Just gotta push up really hard on it?
Yeah, what did you grow up here? Just poke your head out. What do you see?
Well, I mean, it's the city, and there's some ladies walking around. Oh my god.
What did they just say?
Nothing. They didn't say nothing. They just saw that it was a sex gremlin.
Oh, well, I guess the problem's worse than I thought. We're gonna have to do something big. Listen, Spinray, would you like to get involved with me and to start another... No, do you have anybody here who could be injured horribly?
Ooh, it's anybody else that could also get injured.
We're gonna need an out-and-out crucifixion.
Oh.
Old-fashioned, I'm telling you. Actual
Oh.
crucifixion. We're gonna have to nail them to a cross and raise them out of the sewer.
You know, I think we got somebody that could work for that plan. And I think that's honestly a great idea. It's a little malicious, but I think if we stage it all properly, I've got the perfect guy. Now, you know that sex gremlin Theo?
Yeah, of course I do.
Theo,
He's a good guy.
he had a common path that he was following of killing sex gremlins down here.
What?
Throwing them down further into the sewer.
Is he locked up?
No, he's not locked up.
Why?
Well, I mean, because he was doing it. He's not locked up.
Okay.
He's not locked up, but now we were kind of holding on to him for something, when we could make an example out of him, and I think this is the time.
Well, you know what? Pick who you gotta pick. We'll do it.
Sounds good to me.
Collect the wood, we'll nail him to the cross, and then we'll put him up.
I know you have some magical capabilities, so the next question I have for you is, could you give us some sort of transfiguration spells to put us in human outfits? So where, we can literally live stream a human killing this sex gremlin, but it's actually us.
Probably. I don't know if I can make you a human, but I could definitely transform me and be the human that kills it. I will nail him and live stream the nailing.
Okay.
Here's what we do. I'm a human who got down into the sewers. I found your secret hiding spot.
Oh my god, this is...
I snuck in, I brought a cross with me, and I nailed him though.
Absolutely. And then we start calling you the Nailer.
I love that.
The Nailer. Beware the Nailer.
Beware the nailer. People would fear this person from all over.
And eventually there would be enough people wanting to get back at the Nailer that we could sneak in some sex gremlin rights. Not only do you want to kill the Nailer, but why do you want to kill the Nailer? Because of what the Nailer did to a sex gremlin.
That's perfect. In the nailer, we gotta find somebody who they never expected the bait. The hate towards sex gremlins has gotten so bad that an average person has come down here and is killing them.
That's a great idea.
Go fetch him.
What's going on?
Hi, Theo. Will you come sit down in my office? Hi.
Yeah, what's this got to do with something?
Yeah, listen, close the door.
No, don't worry about closing the door. I got it.
No,
Spinray's
close the door.
got it.
Sit down.
Spinray's got it. He doesn't need to close the door. He should sit his ass down. What's going on?
Sit your ass down. Sit down.
I'm sitting. What's
Okay.
going on? Is this because of something?
Listen, we know what you did.
You know about the Lamasil monster that came out of my toes?
What?
No, it's not about the goddamn Lamasil monster. Now, how many times have I told you that motherfucker doesn't exist?
What the hell is this retard talking about?
To be honest with you, no, I don't know. It's this ongoing rumor that this motherfucker birthed the Lamasil monster out from under his toes, and now he's running around down here.
You talking about that little creepy guy that comes out of your toe fungus?
Yeah, that's
From the
exactly.
commercials?
He came out of my toes.
He's not
I
real.
watched him come out of my toes.
He's not
There's a
real.
tunnel under my toes.
There's no tunnel.
It's a human-sized tunnel.
Get the cross.
What are you guys doing?
Listen, Theo, you can't be down here killing people.
Okay, well, I did kill some sex gremlins, but, I would catch them on the top side, I'd bring them down, I'd throw them down to the dungeons.
I don't care what you're doing. Listen, you are going to be a martyr. Do you know what that is?
I get to be a martyr?
You get to be a martyr. We're
Like
gonna
Tristan? I mean, technically like Haggerty, but, they thought it was Tristan.
Exactly. We have a new plan.
Okay.
But listen.
You gonna blow my knees out, too?
No, we're gonna nail you to a cross.
Nail me to a cross?
You're gonna die on the cross.
It was like 3 sex gremlins that I put down in the
You're
dungeon.
gonna die on the cross for all of the other sex gremlins. You're gonna absolve their sins.
Listen, Theo, I mean, this is a good deal for you.
It's a good deal. Otherwise, we're just gonna throw you into the dungeon too. Because listen, as the new Secretary of Defense, I don't like that I'm called the Secretary. I'm just gonna make that very clear. As the new Secretary of Defense, I have to defend the sex gremlins at all costs. And that means killing the killer. So either we're gonna throw you in the dungeon, or you're going to pretend to be on the live stream with me, screaming, writhing in pain.
It's an acting
okay?
performance. A little bit of anxiety bubbling up.
I heard it.
Is it kind of like a performance?
Yes, it's exactly like a performance. And listen, if this goes well for you, people are gonna worship you for all of, for thousands of years at least. You know how Jesus died?
Of course I know how Jesus died for our sins.
What, he's some sort of Christian or something?
No, I just am familiar with the story.
Yeah, but you're gonna be like him and you're gonna be like Tristan.
I'm gonna die for the sex... Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, great.
But promise me one thing. Look for that Lamisil toe monster.
Oh my god.
He came out from under... He didn't come out from under your goddamn toes. He's not fucking real. There's no such thing as the Lamisil toe monster. Put his ass on the cross.
Put them in shackles first.
Well, hello and welcome to MOATAIF, folks. We're back. It's 2024. Can you believe it?
Yep.
You can?
No. Actually, well, I can be. We've had a whole day to let it set in.
It's
but
true. It's
yesterday, I couldn't believe that today was going to be 2024.
Exactly. And it's interesting, too, because in my mind, like, all through, like, probably the last half of 2023, I was like, I'm not going to be smoking cigarettes in 2024, and
I heard that.
Here it is, January 2024. I'm not even going to try to say that's a resolution. I'd like to stop. I'd like to smoke less, but I can't. If I make it a resolution, I will fail, because, like, I'm on a, I've got, like, half a pack of cigarettes left out there, and the second I smoke the last one, I'm going to be like, I need to go to Crown, It's a slippery slope you go down.
It really is. Well, yeah, I told you it was.
It is.
I did tell you it was.
You did. It's a slippery slope you go down.
It makes me feel bad for having a smoking fetish and wanting people who don't smoke to indulge it, because I would not want that to happen.
Right. Well, and I mean, it. I don't know, but I can't imagine. It's like now I just enjoy the ritual of it, of being able to be like, in the middle of work, like, oh, I'm gonna step outside and have a smoke, and it's
nice.
It's a nice little break. And I mean, hell, I like the way they make me feel.
Yeah.
I
do too.
It.
I like I love the feeling of nicotine.
And, I feel like you're playing a risky game, at least when you're smoking a cigarette over just nicotine because of all the, added carcinogens and all of that nonsense. But look at how many people smoke, like my grandma. She's 75. She don't have lung cancer. She probably has COPD, but she...
Does she?
Probably.
What do you mean? I think she would know.
Well, my mom thinks she has undiagnosed COPD.
Well, remember in DARE class in 7th grade, when maybe 8th grade? 7th grade. Something like that. We had DARE class, and they had us do a COPD example of what it would like to have COPD, and they had you breathe through basically like a coffee straw.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I would know if
I
could. That's all I was breathing.
Yeah, that's true.
Does Jane breathe like...
No, it's not that bad. So maybe she doesn't, but
She's
she just hacks up a lung nonstop and always.
Well, your mom might know better because, being
True.
a nurse.
True. But, I can't necessarily make that a resolution. I think if I had any I do want to go back to journaling every day. Hence, we're going to be going into my 2023 journal data. And no journal presentation since 2021 has been as concise as the very first one, because I had actually, done 365 entries.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back to that again. I enjoyed doing it, and there's no reason why I can't. There's no reason why. So might as well do it again. But I would like to, I don't know, and I would like to have one more event at work every month than we had last year. Now that I'm on and so far January we did exactly that. We have one more event in January of 24 than we had in January of 23.
Yes, you have career resolutions.
Yeah,
Nice.
which is interesting. Which is
That is interesting.
Really
I don't
interesting
even
to
have
be
a
in
career
that-
resolution.
Be in that position. Well, because I mean, like, surely if everything was going fine with the number of events that we had last year, then why not have at least the exact same number, if not one more? You know? I mean, hell.
Why not?
And I can't think of anything. There were a few other ones that I had. Oh, I'd like to. My hygiene sort of went down in 2023 because our shower.
You've mentioned that on
terrible.
the show. The
Yeah.
horse bath and whatnot.
Well, now, at least over break, by being able to take a shower whenever I wanted, instead of having to be like I have to get up and take one right this second, I've taken a shower every day.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the shower's not as bad as maybe I gave it credit for. It's pretty terrible, but
Having to shower or just
the shower.
your shower. Your shower.
Yeah, it's not as bad. And if you
You have a bathtub with a shower? It's just a standing shower.
Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible.
I hate that when I go to a hotel and it's just a standing shower. I like a bathtub. It gives me the chance to sit if I want to.
Right, and
Hardly
I
ever do it, but
I need a little bit more room.
yeah,
And it's
that
not
too.
only that, but then the water lines are just clogged with rocks.
Yeah.
So there's hardly any water pressure. But we've kind of gotten over that a little bit. It's sort of you can get through a shower. It'll just take some motivating for me to. But my plan is to hopefully, on just a normal work day when I'm scheduled to be there at the normal 8 a.m. start time, I'd like to just start waking up at 7, get right in the shower, and leave.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time. Mm-hmm. I should be able to do it.
I always give myself at least 15 to 20 minutes to wake up before I have to get up.
That's always
So,
nice.
if I want to set my alarm for 6 a.m., I'll wake up at 5:45. That way I don't have to get out of bed until 6.
That is nice.
I cut my sleep back a little bit, but it helps me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one. I could try that out too, because there were days before before this Christmas break, which has been fucking incredible.
Oh, yeah.
For me,
I'm sure.
to the point where now I'm ready to go back. I'm that refreshed that I'm like, oh well, I'm kind of excited for Wednesday.
Yeah.
'cause, I know what I'm gonna do. But it became to the point where I was just rolling out of it. Sometimes, especially now that Royal's been there, I'm like, well, he'll be there at 8. And that's not a way to be, and I'll show up at 8:05 or 8:10 or sometimes 8:39, and
Ooh.
there's no reason for it, other than just I was lazy and I didn't want to get up, and then I would, so I just had to be better than that, so those are kind of
That's a good
my
goal.
goals, my goals. And of course, one of your goals, I guess, would be for Abigail's coming back.
Yep.
That's
Big
a good
old
goal.
update we got here. I do believe 99% certainty Abigail's coming back.
Well, that's good.
Everything we've discussed. Now, in 2 weeks, I have to drive across the country to get Rocco. He will be coming back early, so he'll be a part of the MOATAIF universe at some point.
I'm sure he'll.
He's usually a lot more quiet though,
Yeah.
and he'll just sit right next to me. But it's going to be very interesting to have 5 animals here by myself.
It will. It will. It will be a bit of an undertaking.
Before we continue though with the planned presentation, I do have a slight update to give on the this young lady who I've been
On OnlyFans? Well, not but that girl, the
yes
Argentinian.
yes I've cut her off.
Oh,
I'm done.
it was a cutoff.
I put an end to it.
Well, because I remember the last thing that I remember you saying is that you guys were still kind of communicating pretty regularly, and then that you maybe thought that was the time that you would freaked out because you thought Abigail had read your messages or something like that.
That was the first. That was when it first started
Yeah.
happening. Yeah, we talked after that for sure. But she basically confessed tremendous amounts of feelings.
Oh
for me.
shit.
Tremendous amounts
Yeah.
of feelings, and I'm like, nope. That's not what I wanted out of this at all.
Right.
And so I told her, I was just like, look, I do have a girlfriend. I love her. She is aware of this. I've told her that before. It's not a big deal. I was like, but I am committed to her. She's the only person I want to be with. And if you're actually sitting here thinking that you want to, something like that's never gonna happen. I was like, I would be your friend or whatever, but I don't know if you could do that. And she's like, no, I can't. I'm like, all right, well, that's it. And we haven't spoken since.
Oh dang.
But did see some nipple.
Oh nice. You got to see some nipple.
I did.
Nice. Was it better than the OnlyFans model who looked like her?
Oh God, yeah. The OnlyFans model is kind of like diet her
Oh, gotcha.
in my mind because
Yeah.
it's not the real her.
Well, of course.
They look very similar, but yeah, very nice.
It would be unfortunate if the lookalike had a better body than the the original.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Well, that's a bit of an unfortunate update, but I mean, at least there's a conclusion to it, I guess.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
Some things, it would, in a different scenario, maybe you would have been open to it, but you're not in a...
No, not at all. I don't want anything like that. For
Right.
me, it was really just fun. Of course, the young lady turns me on so much.
Sure.
Just
As she-
how attractive she is.
Right.
And I really think we could have been friends. Like, we got along on that level a lot, but I didn't know she had all these, crazy feelings.
Right.
So,
Well, MOATAIF honors the Argentinian.
yep.
Well, folks, like I said, I didn't do a very good journaling in 2023, but one thing I did do that will likely continue in 2024 was I put at the top of the page in one of my journal pages, it was just 2023 content log, and there ended up being 2 of them. And that way, instead of having to read every single journal entry and be like, oh, I mentioned Big Brother, and write it down, there's a list that I've been keeping all year in my journal of new shows that I've been watching, or just anytime
That's
I
nice.
watch a
It's
show.
easier to sort through the data.
Exactly.
You've done this a couple
Exactly.
times. This is your 3rd, right?
Yeah, this will be
Third
year
analysis.
3. Year 3. So this year, we've got 2023 journal data brought to you by Moleskine. But of course, I did have to bring in some additional support from Spotify and Letterboxd because I just didn't journal as much this year, so there is some liberty.
They help us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with 2023 podcasts, and this was obviously brought to us by Spotify Wrapped 2023. Obviously, I've already revealed number 4 because MOATAIF was the number 4. And I know we've recently talked about this in our group chat, but, hey, we're also doing it for an audience. So take the time to check us out on YouTube and follow along with this presentation. And without further ado, the number 5 podcast that I listened to in 2023, according to Spotify Wrapped, was the Shane Dawson podcast. I've enjoyed this Shane Dawson podcast. I know I've talked about it with you a couple times, maybe not on the show, but I think this was probably one of my top podcasts last year too. But I'm not a fan of the man's cancellation. I don't agree with it. I don't.
Why did you cancel?
Why
We got
everybody
canceled
hates
for the
him so
Shanae
much.
thing. Oh, okay, the Shanae thing. He said he would have sex with a dog or something.
His cat, yeah, or
Cat.
and yeah, he's he's made some more pedophilic jokes that maybe I wouldn't have made, like saying he's gonna come about what's her name? I whip my head back and forth. Willow Smith's daughter.
Willow Smith.
Yeah,
That was 15 years ago.
yeah, exactly.
He was in his early 20s, I think, something like that, maybe late
And at the end of
teens.
the day, sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of the young man. He makes me cringe. Don't get me wrong, but I enjoy watching Ryland's channel, Ryland's vlogs. But then Shane edits them, and he's obviously a very heavily prevalent force in these videos. I enjoy the young man. I enjoy
There's
the
nothing
content.
wrong with it.
I enjoy the
You
content.
don't got to defend it.
and it makes me.
I don't watch him,
they-
but I've never been mad
Yeah.
when one of his videos are on.
Sure. They had twins this year, Shane and Ryland. I don't know if you have been keeping up with any
Not
of
at
that
all.
news,
I have
but
no clue what's happening.
they've been married now for some time, and they had 2 twin boys via surrogacy.
Nice.
And they kind of documented their journey.
They
with
made
that.
twins, or that just happened?
Yeah, they decided they wanted to have twins. So
That's
one of the
weird.
kids, I'm pretty sure they decided that one of the kids would be genetically Shane's and one would be genetically Ryland's.
How? Oh, so they're only twins in the sense that they're fraternal twins.
Yeah, they're fraternal twins, but they were impregnated in the same.
That is crazy
womb.
that we can do
Yeah,
that.
and one has Shane's semen and one has Ryland's semen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for them.
I know, yeah. And so then the babies are born, and they decided to share one photo. Just being like the babies have been announced because they've kind of been talking about, oh, we're not going to show the babies. We're not going to show the babies. They took one picture, and immediately everybody's like, this is the worst thing. He's a pedophile. How did they do this?
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to cancel him again?
Oh, yeah. They don't think he ever should have been, not canceled.
What?
They would have preferred that he never come back, that he never made this podcast, and that honestly, like if he had just killed himself, I think they would have enjoyed that better.
Oh my God.
I know.
The mob.
I know. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, I support Shane Dawson.
Right.
I don't necessarily care what he did. Everybody
Right.
should,
Yeah.
he can have a baby.
Sure. Exactly. And so then, that would be
So that's why you're defending it so heavily.
right. Exactly. I'm
Because
like,
he's canceled.
he's vehemently hated. He's like vehemently hated. It would be like I don't put them in the same category, but it's like when Kevin Spacey makes those like cringe in character Christmas videos after he was canceled. He's like, oh yeah, I'll kill him with
So people are
kindness.
viewing them, anything he does like that.
Pretty
like, What
much.
the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't we cancel him?
Right. And when he goes viral for things like sharing a photo of his twin babies, there's a heavy amount of comments that are congratulations.
Penises weren't in it, right?
No. No.
Who gives a fuck?
But they're like in one of the pictures, like one of the babies is in like the little, thing they put a baby in, not a crib, but you know what I mean, at the hospital. And Ryland is asleep in the bed beside the baby, and everybody's like roasting him, like, why is he sleeping in the bed like he gave birth? Well, they obviously, you can't take the babies from the hospital.
These people need to get off the internet.
right, right,
Go the fuck.
right. It's ridiculous, dude.
Go the fuck outside and realize that's what you do.
Right. It's fucked up. So I'm happy. I'm proud to have Shane Dawson's podcast number 5.
Fuck
on
yeah,
my list.
I'll support it.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a month.
Not a number 1, 2, or 3 podcast. You occasionally listen to this
Right.
podcast,
And
I'm sure.
Even because it's a monthly, maybe bi-monthly podcast, so it doesn't come out very often enough.
That makes sense.
You
Can't
rise up in
it
the
couldn't
ranks.
possibly be
But I
number
listen
1.
to every episode.
Well, there you go.
So then we got MOATAIF at number 4. No reason to keep that one uncovered. Number 3 in the podcast reveal. Hello. I've Had It. Now, this podcast I don't even listen to anymore. But this is 2 women. Brie also had this one on her podcast who have gone viral sort of for being Karens. But they're progressive Karens. But they just, they get on their podcast and they just talk shit about things they've had it
bitch.
with. Yeah. And
Give me an example. What are they bitching about?
oh, like I've had it with people who post on Instagram, like, they'll make a post about, I'm so glad little Briley chose me to be their mama. She's so inspirational and she's this and that. And then they're like, I've just had it because, like, they just had raw sex and now they're like thanking themselves,
I see,
that
okay,
kind of bullshit. Or I've had it with people who take their shoes off on a plane and then they'll tell a story about
That's
how
annoying.
the lady who sat next to him clipped her toenails on the plane or whatever. I enjoy the podcast. I enjoy the 2 hosts. The thing where they lost me is they became a guest podcast and they'll just have guests on. I don't give a shit. I don't know who the person is. I don't care about having them on. And yeah, it's interesting because like you can still listen to it and all they're doing is also adding something that they have had it with and like ha ha ha, like maybe their story's fun. I don't know who they are and I don't care about them.
Yeah.
So I highly expect I've Had It to completely drop off this list.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because you're completely done?
Yeah, I don't listen to it at all. Haven't in months. Number 2. This might get weird. This is the podcast with Grace Helbig and Mamrie Hart.
This was on there last year,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I've watched them on years for YouTube, at least probably a decade on YouTube now, and they've been doing this podcast for, I think they're in like 250, 300 episode territory.
Damn.
I've listened to every
Once a
single
week?
one. Yeah, weekly on Wednesdays, every day that it comes out, I'm listeing to it. I enjoy
Nice.
it. And number 1, no surprise
No
to
surprise
anybody,
at all.
Ear Biscuits with Ear Biscuits with Rhett and Link. I enjoy it. I think it is probably the best thing that they put out, only because like the thing that I like about Rhett and Link are Rhett and Link, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
And
I've recently listened to a little bit of Ear Biscuits. I was listening to a little bit of their deconstruction talk.
Yeah.
I watched some
Yeah.
like recap podcasts they did, like revisiting. I think it was a couple years old at the point I listened to it, but pretty interesting. It was cool hearing them talk as if they're real people.
yeah, absolutely.
It reminds me of the Good Morning Chia Lincoln days.
Absolutely. And one thing that I really like that they've been doing the last couple years is they've been doing Sextember, where all through September they're talking about sex. And
Weird.
like, this year's update in Sextember was last
Liking.
year we learned that Rhett has tried a butt plug. And Link was upset that Rhett hadn't told him that he had tried a butt plug. And so Link after they did an episode where they interviewed, which I don't like, but this time it made sense. They interviewed like a sex podcast host during Sextember, and were like asking her questions like, is squirt pee, like that kind of stuff.
She said yes.
No. I mean, sort of, yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of pee in squirt, yeah, but
I've heard it both ways
Yeah.
from people who claim to be experts.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
those kinds of questions. And so at that lady, then that year, last Sextember in 2022, gave Link a butt plug. And then this year for Sextember, he gave us the update.
He wore it
about-
during the podcast?
No. But he went home and put it up his ass and tried to have sex with Christy, and all this stuff, told the story about it. And I think, if I remember correctly...
So weird. I would not
it-
imagine them talking about that.
If I remember correctly, and I might be making it up, but I'm almost positive that it fell out of his ass at one point, like when he was...
Loose hole.
Right? Like when he squatted down or something, like it's shot out of his ass when he was coming, maybe.
I bet it felt so good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Did he say it did?
He said he liked it, but he was surprised. He thought Rhett had oversold how much the butt plug enhances the orgasm. So he was a little disappointed.
Well,
but-
clearly Link has a looser hole.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
you
what it
need it
seems
to
like.
you need it to be touching
Right.
that prostate. You need it to
Absolutely.
be gaping you a little bit. Clearly.
Absolutely. So I do have a couple honorable mention podcasts. These were ones that did not make the thing, and it's just Dispatches from Myrtle Beach, which is the other podcast where Link is hosted with his dad. This one didn't make the list because now they're doing a bi-weekly podcast, so the numbers have, drastically, dropped off.
Yeah, it would be hard to do a podcast once a week with your father.
For sure. And Relaxing White Noise. I only listened to one episode of this. I've got it downloaded on my phone. It's an 8-hour box fan noise, and I listen to it every single night when I go to bed.
It's crazy that you do that. I have to fall asleep to content.
I need the... And I can't even at this point do silence. Like, if it's silent, I'm like...
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, I need the noise.
Yeah.
I need the noise. So thank you to Relaxing White Noise. Let's move on to books. Now, at the end of this year, I definitely really turned into more of a book. This was kind of a shocking... I haven't read... I haven't been doing much reading over the last couple years. And I think that kind of changed this year. And I accredit that to Stephen King's Holly.
Ooh.
That came out later this year. Probably... I think I bought it in like maybe September or October.
I
can't
remember seeing that
exactly.
on the bookshelves.
Yeah.
Going to Half Price Books.
Yeah.
Thinking it looked interesting.
It is sort of a spiritual successor to the Mr. Mercedes trilogy that I really liked that he wrote. Now a character who was like a minor character in those stories has now inherited the private detection agency from those books and is now running it herself.
Yep.
And so she runs, she encounters a missing daughter. The mom reaches out and she's like, my daughter's missing. And so the whole book is Holly trying to find this daughter and connecting these cases where there have been a lot of mysterious disappearances in the same park. Come to find out, it's an elderly couple who believe that cannibalism like revives your...
Like the adrenochrome.
Exactly, yeah. And so they like torture people, they capture them, put them in the basement, and start eating them and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure Stephen King does that brilliantly.
Right. It was good. It was quite good.
I'm sure it's brilliant.
It was good. And I really enjoyed it and read it over Thanksgiving break. Finished it over Thanksgiving break. And from then, I really was into, like, what else can I read?
1 second, though. I want to interrupt you real quick. I think it's interesting. This is what sparked some reading for you. Stephen King halted reading for me this year.
Really?
I started reading. I think it's over there because I don't want to mess up the name. The Dome.
Oh, yep.
I could not get through
Well,
it,
because
brother.
didn't you read, like, 11, 26 or
Yes,
whatever?
it was so good.
Yeah. And I've never read that one.
Fucking good.
Yeah.
I
It
think
sounds
about that book
interesting.
all the fucking time, dude.
Yeah. And then so like after you read that one, you tried to read the
Yeah,
Dome
what
and-
happened is earlier this year, Abigail and I were visiting Arizona, and we went to some random bookstore there, and I found it. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me read this.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks interesting. I love Stephen King. And then it's just
Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they did, when that book came out, I had already like it was like the same year that I got my iPad, and obviously like one of the coolest things to me was you could read a book on it. You know, you could watch a movie on it. All that nonsense. So of course I bought Under the Dome by Stephen King. I mean, it must have been like on Kindle, like on a Kindle equivalent. It must have been 20,000 pages. I mean, it was,
Dude, if I had I don't know if the book's over there on the bookshelf. I think it is. It's a big fucking book.
It is fucking humongous, dude. It's insane.
I'm not seeing it, but
I mean, it is every bit of 800.
There it
it's
is.
1,000 pages.
I'm gonna go grab it
Yeah.
and show it to you.
I
think it is 1,000 pages.
I think it's 1,000 pages. And I guess for the reader, for the listener's point of view, it is not a spoiler that there are cannibals, because it's like chapter 1 of Holly is written from Holly's point of view, and chapter 2 is written by the cannibals' point of view. So that is not a spoiler. And when that book came out, dude, I immediately was like, okay, so he saw the Simpsons movie. Simpsons did it.
I thought the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is remarkably close to the Simpsons movie, and had to look up what came first. The book's a little damaged. I don't know. I think it was in my car or something. I don't know if this happened. But I haven't. Just
Making sure it wasn't
Happy or
piss.
something, yeah.
It's so big.
Oh my god, it's over 1,000 pages.
Holy shit.
1,074.
Oh my god, Steven. And like when I was
It's
reading,
so ridiculously long, but 1127, whatever. I don't know.
That's
I've
just
never
as
seen
big,
an actual
yeah.
copy of it, but it was long.
yeah, it's just as big for sure.
What I don't like about Under the Dome is that it was the hook, unbelievable. Because all of a sudden this dome comes up,
Yep.
fucking a plane smacks the fuck.
Yep.
This man spends like 150 pages recounting the same story from like
Everybody's
everybody's perspective, and like I don't like the characters. Not interested in them at all.
Now, I do have to say,
And he doesn't stay with the characters long enough for me to care. And I forget who they are. And like, I can keep a fucking story straight, but not that.
one thing that I really appreciate about Stephen King's books, and like something like Under the Dome, is that they are super detailed which I hate. I mean, I hate it too. Like, I could never read that book, and I won't. I've probably read like 100 pages of it, and I don't think I could ever read anymore.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately a problem that I have with a lot of Stephen King books, is like I get 100 pages in and I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I was glad this one wasn't like that, Holly. But Under the Dome is a really good miniseries. They made it, they produced it on like
I heard it was a
NBC or
series, but I
something
thought
like
it was
that.
canceled. I didn't
It
even
was
finish
canceled.
It.
Yeah, it was canceled.
I'm not gonna
I don't
watch
think
it.
They finished it, but it was. I didn't realize, like, I mean, I know Stephen King does like sci-fi, fantasy kind of like aspects, but it's like really sci-fi.
Yeah, the book's pretty sci-fi because this isn't like a magical dome.
Right.
I mean, it is. It's an invisible.
But it's like
barrier.
an alien dome.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
something.
where he was going
Yeah,
with it. I don't know who.
Well,
made it.
there's like eggs.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah,
I didn't get that
it's
far.
got a whole bunch of like nonsense.
If I had gotten that far by the time I stopped, I would have finished. But that literally stopped my reading for the entire year because I'm like, I don't want to get that invested into something. I must have been 200 pages in, 250 pages in. Like, that's a whole book.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like it hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I love Stephen King's books, but they're very hit or miss for me. I either read it cover to cover or I can't get through it.
Yep.
What can you
That's
do?
been my experience. Well, I've only read 2.
Yeah.
Started 2, but.
What was 11:20? What is it? 11:23?
I think it's 11/27/63.
Because that
it's
must
the
be
day.
the date that he was assassinated.
Yeah, it was.
I just don't
Great
know it off the
fucking
top of my
book.
head. And
Great
apparently that one's also a great documentary miniseries too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
James Franco is in it.
Really? He plays the guy?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
He'd be a really good person to do that.
Yeah, good for them. A lot of Stephen King's books have been turned into really good adaptations because there's so much detail, like Under the Dome, and like what was the one I watched last year? The Storm of the Century is another book that's probably about as long, but it turned into a really great miniseries. 4 like hour-long episodes. I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah. We love him.
we love him. MOATAIF honors Stephen King.
Dead?
No.
Okay. We're just honoring
Right.
anybody now.
The next book I read was Howard Stern's Miss America.
Yeah, I walked in on you with this book out,
Yeah.
I think.
Now, I didn't know that he even wrote another book
I
after
didn't either.
Private Parts, but Private Parts I would still say is one of my favorite books. I really enjoyed reading it. It's a good movie, too. I like Howard Stern. I think he's funny, and I think his show was hilarious, and I've seen a lot of...
He's kind of a sellout now.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's terrible now. Not terrible, but like...
He's pretty terrible.
It's like, it's not even the same, even remotely.
He's trying to be like Jimmy Kimmel.
Right. It's not even close to the same show. Miss America was written pretty much right after Private Parts, and it's a pretty good spiritual successor. The thing I didn't like about it was that it's very, like, one chapter's about this, the next one's about this, and there's not much, like, Private Parts was a lot more, like, this is how I started my career and how I made it to here. And this was, like, kind of, let me tell you the story about, there's, like, a whole chapter about an interview that he did with Michael Jackson that never got released.
Really?
And, like, that was interesting. But then there's also, like, a chapter where he just talks about every producer on the show, and I'm like, I don't,
Oh, okay.
it just kind of, it wasn't as, there's, like, a whole chapter.
And this was written in the 90s,
Yeah.
so I probably wouldn't recognize any of
Yeah.
the 90s ones.
Yeah. It was, like, a lot of, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I would still say, like, it was, like, a 4 out of 5 if it was, it was still a good book. And about as long as Holly. I mean, both of these books are about 600 pages. So, I mean, I was right off
600 page
bat.
Howard Stern book.
Oh, yeah. And it, and it was really interestingly published too. A lot of images and a lot of, like, text differences.
Yeah.
Like, you flip through it, it's like, oh, this quote is italics and this one's made a little bit bigger, and, like, oh, it says penis and it's, like, the biggest word on the page, shit like that.
Oh, okay.
It was neat. I would recommend it. I brought these two down at the same time. We got Forrest Gump and Gump & Co., both by Winston Groom. Little spoiler, or not spoiler, but a little teaser, I guess, for the audience.
Yep.
The Austin Zach 00 Book Club was semi-revived towards the end of 2023. And
I would say it was revived.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing of these books coming up. Obviously we love Forrest Gump. It was a little hard for me to get... I started reading it before Christmas break, but it didn't really come up until Christmas break, and then I read them both, and I was able to sit down and just dedicate, a couple hours and just read it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed both of the books. I'm not going to get too in depth, since we're going to have a whole episode about them, but I would say I did really enjoy both books.
No comment on that, since we will have a discussion.
Right.
I have things to say.
And this one was actually, I think, technically the first book I read this year. Standing in the Shadows, Bigfoot Stories from Southeastern Ohio by Doug
Hocking
Waller.
Hills area?
Yep. We picked it up at a Hocking Hills gift shop, and then we read it by the fire each night.
Yeah, how was it?
It was good. I mean, it's terribly written. I mean, it's
Self-published?
it's self-published and pretty terribly written, but it was interesting, and we did learn. No, I wouldn't say learn, but I had never really read that much about Bigfoot, so it was interesting to hear some of the ways that people think they've seen Bigfoot and heard Bigfoot, and I'm like, okay, I guess
Like
maybe
his
that
cries.
was right.
Sometimes there's a supernatural aspect to it. Did they talk about that? Like this deep feeling you get? Yeah.
Yep, that like it's like some sort of like endorphin, that's like I have to get out of here, like like wavelength or something.
Yeah, fear.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel a lot of fear when they see Bigfoot.
Talking about like the methods that he used to try to cast a Bigfoot footprint in snow before the snow melted, like that kind of shit. It was interesting. I mean, the next time we go to Hocking Hills, our plan is, this guy's written like 4 of these. Our plan is to,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Our
How
plan
many
is
stories
to get
are
the
there?
next one and read the next one by the fire too. It was entertaining.
That sounds nice.
We did kind of get scared, like, as the sun started to set, and then we're like reading these stories about Bigfoot, and you'd hear like a crack in the woods. It's like, huh? Obviously
That'd be fun. We're thinking about going to Hocking Hills for Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking Abigail
Hell
will
yeah.
fly back and we do something like that.
Yeah.
So
Can't recommend it enough.
let me know where this gift shop is, and
It's
I will.
yeah, I will. I'll definitely give you more in detail, but I'm pretty sure it was just like
Is it just
Old
that main
Man's
coffee
Cave.
shop?
Yeah, it's like Old.
Oh,
Man's,
it's by Old Man's Cave?
Yeah, Old Man's Cave, like gift shop, or like whatever the state park is. Like as you're getting there, like. The
Oh,
Hocking
okay. I've never
Hills,
been to
it's
that.
like, yeah.
I go to Old Man's Cave
Yeah.
a few times a year.
I love Old
the
Man's
drumming
Cave.
circles.
It's nice. Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the drumming circles are really fun.
That
in
would
there.
be really neat. Yeah. Or there's like, do you have to like set that up, or can you just go and do it? Like, do they have to like get permission?
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they. I think so. But there are other people there.
Yeah.
Like
oh,
people
yeah.
are hiking and
Yeah.
shit like that. They
It's
don't
not like
stop
they close it off or anything. Right.
Yeah, we come and set up. I don't know how they do it actually, but somebody organizes it.
2023 gaming. This was back to
Gaming.
Moleskine.
I forgot this happened.
It's not as big of a. It's never as big.
Well,
of a
there was,
section.
a few months ago, there was we had a podcast, I think, and we're like, let's just go get a PS2.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that started it, didn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Cool. We did get a PS2 this in 2023.
Technical difficulties. That is very annoying that
There we
keyboard
go.
does that.
2023 in gaming, of course, the legendary Mr. Mosquito. This was the whole reason I even wanted to go get a PS2 that day at Game Cycle. And, I bought it and I played it. It's just exactly as I remember it. I even played it that day you were over at the house, and you got to see kind of how it's like.
See it for the first time.
Yeah.
Very weird. Very, very weird game.
Very strange, very sexual, very.
Why did they make it?
Very sensual. It's a hot game, I'd be honest with you.
You get turned on playing it as a kid?
Oh yeah, I mean, like by scene 3, you're sucking blood out of the girl while she's in the bathtub.
Oh,
I mean, you can't like see her, like she's got bubbles and like it's very steamy, but like she's hot.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, I'll suck blood out of her. So glad to have that one in the life. Then also shortly after buying Mr. Mosquito on eBay, I'm like, I need to have every single Grand Theft Auto game again.
Yeah.
Because I've had them all over the years, but I have the case for Vice City Stories sitting over at my mom's house, but the disc isn't in it. So I'm like, well, I bought them all again. I now own every Grand Theft Auto game past Grand Theft Auto 3 up to 5. And the only ones that I really played this year were Vice City Stories and Grand Theft Auto 4. Those were the only 2 that I really busted out and tried to play. Don't know why. Those were just the 2 I picked. But my favorite game that I discovered this year was Subnautica.
That was this year. Wow. I
know.
remember when you were really into this.
It was insane to me that it was this year, but I even looked back at last year's presentation and I didn't mention it. So I'm like, did I really discover that this year?
It must have been, yeah.
Seems
Must
like
have
a
been really
lifetime.
early in the year, though, because that was a
it had
while
to
back.
be. It had to be. And to be honest, I haven't played it in a long time either, but I enjoyed the hell out of this game. Discovered it on the Thalassophobia subreddit. People were like, if you have Thalassophobia, you're going to love this game. I don't think I really have the phobia necessarily. I mean, the ocean does scare me in the sense of like, oh, it's depth, but the game was awesome. Essentially, you're on some sort of like Wall-E, spaceship out there where like humans are just living in this spaceship, but then it crashes on this ocean planet. You're the only survivor, and you have to survive
In the ocean.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there are some other survivors that you hear about, but by the time you actually discover where they are, they're dead. Most
Are you
likely.
serious?
Yeah.
So you're really alone the
Oh
whole
yeah.
time?
Oh yeah.
That's scary.
And there's all kinds of alien space underwater creatures and all kinds of shit, and it gets to it's somewhat Minecraft-esque where you can go out into the world and mine resources and then use them to like eventually build a submarine and all this shit. But and I really enjoyed that, and I got to the point where I got my submarine and all this stuff, and now I can go even deeper and deeper. Like, I think it goes down like 2,000 feet underwater or something like that.
But
like
you could
something
potentially
crazy.
go even deeper than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you mined enough resources.
Yeah, for sure. And it's insane because, like, at a certain point, I got the recipes and the things that, okay, well, if you go down this far, you need something that will prevent you from being crushed by pressure, So,
Sure.
like, you need... So now you got to go find aerogel. Well, in order to make aerogel, you need X, Y, and Z. And in order to get that, you have to go down to this. And it got so convoluted to the point where it made me stop playing.
Yeah.
But
I like that kind of stuff.
I do like it. I was enjoying it, but it got to the point where I'm like, oh man, I really just want to like see what's down there. And I couldn't. And it was like, getting to the point where I was frustrated. And I'm like, I stopped playing, and now I haven't picked it back up. But I would pick it back up, and it is quite fun. I really enjoyed
So
it.
you're in gaming. Oh.
Alphabet Dice game. Got
What
this
is this?
for Christmas. This is
Guess it is gaming.
Yeah, made by Campbell's Soup. This is a word each player gets. There's a certain you divide the cubes between yourself and you roll them out. And you make a crossword based on the letters that you have. And there's all kinds of rules and all kinds of stuff. But it's basically Scrabble. It's basically.
Oh, okay.
Mystery Date Game Nostalgia Edition. This was a game I got for Taylor for Christmas and as part of the date night box that I put together. This game kind of was updated. You remember when I'm pretty sure that Board James did like Dream Phone.
Yes, I do remember.
That's like kind of the updated version of this game, Mystery Date Game. This is the Nostalgia Edition's kind of back to like the original version of the game, and so it's a really small board. And there's a door in the middle, and what you do is you go around around the board collecting. You have to get there's clothing cards essentially, and you're selecting them because everybody in the game is playing a girl, and you're waiting for Mr. Right at the door. And there's 5 different men who could show up at the door. One who's going to take you to like a formal dance, one who's taking you to the beach, one who's taking you bowling, etc. And you have to go around the table and get as much of those clothing items as possible. So you have to have 1, 2, and 3 bowling. And when you get to the door, you have to say, "Okay, I'm ready to go bowling," and you twist the dice, and then you open it. And yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
interesting.
It was pretty fun. Minecraft, of course. I forgot
course.
that we played
We
that
did.
this year, but we did play that this year together, in fact, and build what did we call it? Sex object park or something like that.
Yes, yes, we did.
Sex monument park, a giant penis, a giant boobs, vagina, like all kinds of
Oh yeah, depraved.
Metroid and Kirby's
Played
Adventure
Metroid.
for NES. Yeah, so
What got you into Metroid?
nothing. This was I literally played it once. But I forgot all about this. But in January, I wrote about it in my journal. We went over to Will's parents' house, and they had given Will's daughter has kids now, and so they gave them a game, not a Switch or not an NES, but something that had all those games on.
Like an NES Classic.
Yeah. And like plugged it into the TV with like AV cables, and So we played those 2 games together. Me and I guess he's my nephew.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you got to play some
Yeah.
old school games.
But that's it for gaming. 2023 in film. This is brought to you by Letterboxd. So I've got a couple slides of these are the at least movies that I wanted to talk about or cared that I saw this year that actually came out in 2023. But then there's also a slide of just a series of movies that I just liked that I watched this year.
Mm-hmm.
So first one I want to mention is 80 for Brady. Now,
Okay.
this doesn't seem like anything I would be interested in, but I like most of the women in the movie, including, Sally Field is in the movie.
Forrest Gump's mom.
Forrest Gump's
I see her
mom.
on the right there.
This movie is it's a true story about 4 elderly women who love the Patriots, love Tom Brady so much that they want to do anything that they can to like get to see him play at the Super Bowl. That's the, overarching theme, but this is just a harmless little cute little movie, nothing wrong with it. And when I got done with it, I was like, that was fun to watch.
Did they get to go see him?
I think so, yeah. I think they end up going to see, or maybe they realize that they don't need to see him because like the thing that they actually love is spending time with each other.
Oh, that's
You
nice.
know what I
Okay.
mean?
That's
Yeah.
kind of the moral.
Right. Priscilla, Sofia Coppola's new movie. Oh, by the way, 80 for Brady, 3 out of 5. Priscilla, 3 out of 5. Went to see it only because, I'm a completist and I love supporting Sophia and hoping that she will blow me out of the water again like she did with Lost in Translation. This is a fine movie. It's the story of Elvis and Priscilla, but really told from Priscilla's point of view and based on the book that Priscilla Presley actually wrote about her experience with Elvis. And, it's definitely from the point of view of like, she was a child, she was like 14 when he started courting her. So like it is kind of gross, and there's a certain aspect of, grooming to the movie and, that sort of thing. And isolation is something that, Sophia loves making her movies about isolation. So of course, Elvis is always gone and Priscilla's at the house expected to be this wonderful, whatever. Priscilla loved the movie before she died.
Really?
Yeah, she really saw herself in it and loved it. Lisa Marie, Priscilla's daughter, did not like the movie and was like, "Oh, this is awful. Like that's not my mom's life at all." And it's like that's her book.
Yeah.
That's her
How
story.
could you say what your mom? What?
Right, like that wasn't her experience. I don't see my dad in this at all. And I'm like, I'm sure you don't, but like that's your mom's story. Like you can't deny that.
Her dad's Elvis.
Yeah.
How old is she at this point? She must be in her 50s or 60s.
She's dead.
Her daughter's dead?
Yeah, Elvis, Priscilla, and Lisa Marie. Priscilla actually might still be alive. Lisa Marie's the one that's dead, though.
Ah.
Lisa Marie is dead. She
Sounds like
passed.
a character
I think
we
she
would-
passed away like 2021 or 2022.
Damn.
Yeah.
So pretty old.
Yeah,
That's pretty crazy.
well, she was in like her 50s, I think. But
Oh.
yeah,
Complications.
yeah, drugs, I believe.
Drugs.
Obviously, also this year we saw the return of Saw X.
I
Saw
haven't
10
seen this
came
one.
out this year. This, it gets more convoluted each time another movie comes out. I'm not gonna lie, but this movie takes place between Saw and Saw 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, John is still alive. This is of all of the movies that Tobin Bell plays John Kramer in. By far, this is his starring role. His best turn at the at the role.
They did that a lot in Saw 3.
Oh, yeah.
He was a lot in Saw 3.
Yeah, and this is like, I mean, he is in every single scene in this movie, probably.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is he in the room with these people while they're getting tortured?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Not just as somebody laying there on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's actually in there being like because the idea is like, so after his first game or whatever, John is like, oh, I'm gonna go get. He gets contacted by these people who are doing this super experimental cancer treatment that they, he knows someone personally who has been personally revived by this, and his whole life has changed. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna look into this. It's honestly really sad because you actually see him start to have hope. We see him going to like Cancun or whatever for this like special treatment. And he, after he has the treatment, it's interesting because all throughout the series, anytime you see John like sketching anything, it's like a torture device. But then while he's in Cancun, after he has this surgery, he starts sketching the city around him.
Wow.
Come to find out it was a scam. They didn't actually even cut him open. He didn't have a surgery at all. He still has cancer. The guy that he knew was a plant. It was a fake. He was, the whole thing was a lie. It's all a scam. Yeah. And so he then captures those people and tortures them and puts them through a game.
Very interesting idea for a new movie.
It is.
I like that.
Yeah, it was good. 3.5 out of 5. Not one of the greatest movies ever, but a very solid Saw movie.
Yeah, that's 70%?
Yeah. Next on the list, Tin and Tina. This is a foreign language movie, but we watched it as part of our Halloween marathon. This is a great little movie. We watched. I don't know if I can't remember if we watched a dub or if we read subtitles or not. I think it might have been dubbed. Yeah. And the movie is essentially this couple. I'm sure they have a miscarriage. I can't remember correctly, but they end up adopting these two albino freaks from this orphanage, but those albino freaks are like, they have been raised in like a Catholic orphanage or whatever, so they believe the word of the Bible is like literal, and so they like do all sorts of things, like they kill the dog because like, whatever, like that kind of nonsense, because like, I thought we were helping mommy. Like, why would you be helping mommy by killing the dog? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they interpreted the Bible.
Exactly. Right. So this was honestly, it was one of the best movies we watched of our Halloween marathon. So, 4 out of 5. Proud to recommend it, I guess. Of course, this year we had Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese. Have you had a chance to see this yet?
I have not. I knew that it was out for a few weeks or maybe a month now at this point. Like, you can rent it for like $20, but I haven't done it yet.
It's good. It's definitely worth watching. I was so like hyped to see it that I went to see it in theaters. Not something that I necessarily recommend, because I mean, it is a 3.5 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
I only had to go to the bathroom once. I made it probably about 2.5 hours in before I was like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. And it was funny because I got out of my seat. I walked, normal speed down, and once I got, you can like turn the corner and there's like the whole wall where you like walking down this like hallway to get to the door.
Which theater are you at? Like the one in Beaver Creek?
Regal, yeah.
Yeah.
Regal Cinemas. I'm like turning the corner, and as soon as nobody can see me, I sprint.
You got to piss?
Because I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
And I sprint to the nearest bathrooms, force out all my pee as fast as I can, going like, oh, and then I finally get back into the theater. But what I decided, the moment that Todd from Breaking Bad showed up in the movie as a character, I'm like, I can go to the bathroom now. I'm like,
that's interesting.
I don't need to see. I mean, I'll get introduced to him or whatever. But for those who don't know, obviously the movie is about the Osage killings. The Osage people discovered oil on their land. They became some of the richest people in America in the 1900s, and were then methodically killed. I mean, methodically murdered. And poisoned, and
no spoilers. I want to.
It's
I can't wait to watch it.
Very.
I just need to carve out a chunk of time to watch it because it's a long one. Now, if I rent it, I have to make sure I watch it like that night because you only get like 24 hours.
Right. Or maybe 48 if you're lucky.
Maybe, but it's $20 just to rent it.
I know, that's annoying. I would definitely wait until you can buy it. Yeah. I mean, because at least if you're gonna, or at least by the time it comes out and you can buy it, then renting's like $10.
Yeah,
and that's a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. I think it's a great movie, and I really like there's like somewhat of a twist, sort of, at the end. If you've seen it, you'll understand. But it's not really a twist, but it sort of recontextualizes the whole experience of having even gone to see the movie. So I do think it's like one of Martin Scorsese's best, but I still, and this could be controversial, would say that my favorite is The Irishman.
Okay. Interesting. But people really like this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is the only movie from 2023 that I rated 5 out of 5.
Wow.
This is Missing. The movie is called Missing. And this is again another spiritual successor to a movie called Searching, but Missing, the young lady on the poster, her mom is like, "Oh, I'm going to visit my online boyfriend or whatever. I'm going away with my new boyfriend," and then she never comes home. And so using only the internet, only Facebook and Skype and, Facebook Messenger and that kind of shit, she like literally tries to track down her mom.
Is this a documentary or
no, it's not. It's a narrative.
Okay.
And she like hires a TaskRabbit in Brazil and is like, "Can you please go to this address and see if it's actually like what my mom's boyfriend says it's a hotel?" And then like the TaskRabbit's like, "This is no hotel. This is,
Is that what I'm saying? Je t'aime.
Yeah, exactly.
She's talking to a French.
Exactly. It's quite interesting. I think
Je suis l'aéroport.
I think this might be the French poster.
Yeah, it's saying I am at the airport.
Yeah, I think this might be the French poster.
I'm like translating
Yeah.
the most basic thing.
But it's a really good movie. I really enjoyed watching it. And honestly, Missing and Searching were both... we watched Missing first, and then after we enjoyed Missing, we watched Searching. And Searching was good too. Not as good, but Searching was kind of the other point of view, if I remember correctly, of a parent trying to find
going missing.
No, a parent trying to find their child, and then this one, it's a child trying to find their parent. But both are interesting, and they're both like the exact same sort of setup where it's like the dad can only use the computer to try to track her down.
Now the third one, they're both searching for each other.
There you go.
Finding.
There you go. And this was just I wrote it down in my journal and then forgot all about it. I watched the Escape Room series this year, which is only 2 movies, Escape Room and then Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I enjoyed both of these flicks. And
Never heard of it.
3 out of 5 for Escape Room and 3.5 out of 5 for Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Pretty much, it's just these people have gotten offered the chance to come do a real life escape room, except that the outcome is death. Like if you don't win,
okay,
and then
they chose to do that.
Well, I don't think they necessarily knew that you would actually die, until they're in it. And then, by the end of the first movie, whoever escapes, obviously, clearly the lead girl who's, in both posters, she escapes. But then, they capture her again and bring her back, and they're like, "You're going to do this shit again." Harmless little movies, very, just fun.
Psychological?
No, I wouldn't even say that. Sort of psychological, but not in the sense of, they're hard to comprehend or anything like that. It's just, a fun little action movie.
Seems like light Saw.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, that's what it is. PG-13 Saw. Almost exactly what it is. And it's a little more fantastical because, they'll be like, oh, all of a sudden the floor underneath you is crumbling to pieces. Like, John Kramer couldn't do anything like that.
He couldn't pull it. No, he has to rig up machines.
Right.
Like a year rigging up some machines for a torture.
It's almost like they're in virtual reality at times, but they're not.
Okay. I see.
But I definitely recommend them. I mean, they're just...
if Now You See Me meets Saw.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And Now You See Me, I love those little movies.
Me too.
Can't wait for Now You See Me 3 if it ever comes out. Now we're on to television. This is the big kahuna, folks. We're nearing the end, even though television's the one that takes the most. So last year I did a slide that was New Year, Old Show, and I felt that was a good way to get through some of this data again this year. I watched the new season of American Horror Story, Delicate, which was with Kim Kardashian, some stunt casting. They didn't get to finish it before it went on strike, so I have no interest in finishing it, I don't think.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They didn't get to finish it, so...
Had they not finished writing it before they started it?
I think that it was the SAG strike. I think I think it got delayed because of the Writers Guild strike. Then they finished it, and then the SAG strikes, actually put it back to. They
Is
aired
that still happening?
No,
Is
it's
there still a writer's
it's
strike?
over now. They're both over now.
The writer's strike's over? They got what they wanted?
And so did the actors too. So I don't know. To me, I'm just like, they aired like 5 episodes. It still felt like nothing had happened, and there's no news in sight if any other episodes will come out. I mean, they will, I'm sure, but when?
That's so weird.
I don't know.
It's like you would think the entire show would be finished before they did that.
Exactly. The whole season revolves around Emma Roberts' character. She's like an actress, and she wants to get pregnant, and she's like having issues, like being stalked while trying to get pregnant, and there's like a secret society of like witches in Hollywood who like impregnate you with a demon or something. It could be interesting, but
Love Emma Roberts.
Yeah.
So. She's sexy in this?
No.
What?
I mean, she's in it, but she has aged. I know that sounds horrible, but when I watched it, I used to like have a crush on Emma Roberts. I mean, she looks exactly the same, but there was just something about it that I'm like, I'm no longer crushing on Emma.
She's so sexy. Does she smoke in it?
Not that I remember, because she's trying to get pregnant.
Oh.
And she's having so many difficulties with it that she probably would never smoke.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't like her hair like that, necessarily. Yeah.
She looks pretty much exactly the same, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm like, well, I'm just...
What are you talking about? She's gorgeous, dude.
She is. There's no doubt about
it. Emma Roberts, Coven, one of the best Emma Roberts.
That's true. Absolutely.
God.
And, I gotta say, Kim Kardashian can't act her way out of a wet paper bag. It's just as much
I thought I heard good things about her acting.
I mean, it's...
Or at least people trying to defend her.
It's defense, I mean, she's not as bad. It's, like, entertaining to watch, but, like, she'll literally deliver lines like this. Okay. And, like, that's not, Yeah. Nobody talks like that. Shark Tank, the only thing I gotta say about Shark Tank is this is Mark Cuban's last season. Sad to see him go.
May he rest.
Sad to see him
MOATAIF
go.
honors Mark Cuban on Shark Tank.
Absolutely. It would be nice if he's like clearing the way to run for president.
Would like that.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party.
Yes. MasterChef. The new season of MasterChef this year, the twist was they did United Tastes of America, and so they split them up in regions for like the first half of the competition. So it was like, the South is competing against the West, and they could like earn, if the best dish was made by somebody on the South's team, then the entire South was safe, and then now it's everybody else has to go and do the dreaded pressure test.
Interesting.
American Dad. I actually purchased a season pass to American Dad on Amazon Prime and watched it as it came out because Hulu is like the season of American Dad that just aired probably won't be on Hulu for 2 to 3 years.
Why?
It's just I don't know. It's just terribly
Hulu used
delayed.
to be really good with that.
It's terribly delayed for whatever reason with that show specifically. I enjoy the show. I still enjoy the way that the creative direction that show is taken away from Family Guy and the Cleveland show. I really enjoy it. I still think it's this season maybe there were less episodes, there were more episodes that I was like, but I still enjoyed, watching it. And it kind of became a tradition to watch it on my lunch break. It would come out on I'd get an email and it'd be like, new episode of American Dad is available, and I'd watch it at lunch.
At work.
Mm-hmm. The new season of the Kardashians, it's another season. Not much really happened, but in the last episode of the Kardashians, you did get to see Kim start filming American Horror Story, so that was kind of interesting.
That's how I heard about it. I heard about it from Stephanie because she follows Kim.
Yeah,
but I don't think she's watched the show, so I don't know how I heard she wasn't that bad at it.
Family Guy, I can't stop watching it. A new episode comes out and I'll watch it, but it's not anything like it used to be. South Park, this year's, after they made this deal to start doing all those Paramount Plus exclusive like movies, this season had like 4 episodes and then it was over.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like literally 4 episodes?
Yeah, maybe 6.
Wow.
It was the shortest. The seasons are so short. And then like just the other day, Not Suitable for Children, which is the one that I sent you where you could see Randy's cock.
Yes.
The movies are fine. The specials are fine. I just wish there were more episodes of the show too.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead, they're still airing episodes of the revival. It's still something to watch. The new season of Futurama. Now this could have been
that came out
It
yet.
did. Yeah, it's out. This absolutely could have taken a place on the slide that is 2023 in television biggest disappointments. It's
Really?
just not good.
I thought you were going to say best.
No, it's just not good.
Okay.
It is just, it's not good. And I think after they had that whole casting debacle with the guy who voices Bender, you remember that? And he's like, oh, they're not going to pay me well. He's hardly in the show. Bender is like not, he has like maybe 2 or 3 lines every episode and that's it. I'm like, it's just not good.
They shouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Came in with fire.
Why? She was on, I clicked it. I don't know why, but, Dr. Pimple Popper, I enjoy the show, but what I like about Dr. Pimple Popper is Dr. Pimple Popper herself.
Oh, yeah.
And what they've started focusing the show a lot more around is like spending more time with the person in their house before they go to see Dr. Pimple Popper. I don't care about that.
I didn't know this was a whole ass show. I thought this was a YouTube thing.
It used to be, yeah. Now it's on TLC. But now, like, the episode will start, and it'll probably be the first 10 minutes is like introducing us to the patient. He's at home, and he's telling he's talking to his mom, and he's like, I really need to get this bump on my head checked out. And then like he's like an interview about how it makes him self-conscious. And then about 10-15 minutes in, we finally get to Dr. Lee's office, and she's gonna assess it.
So they pace it like a normal reality TV show.
I just skip all that and go right to the Lansing. I like Dr. Lee. I don't give a shit about the patient, really. I don't. I just want to see them cut the shit off his head.
Okay.
Lego Masters. We're on, I think, season 4 now. It's good competition. What can you say? Now this one came in like an anvil. This is a huge development. Sister Wives is not going to be anywhere in the top 15 of 2023.
Holy shit.
It's just a new-year-old show at this point. Don't get me wrong. In the history of ever, the Sister Wives is probably one of my favorite reality shows to have ever existed. The people on the show, I could bring myself to tears thinking about most of them, or thinking about an episode of the show or a storyline or any of that. I've watched it for so long that I love it, but the show is so horribly outpaced by real life that like the first 3 episodes of this current season that aired in 2023 we're still talking about like Christmas of 2021.
Oh my God.
COVID. And I'm like, one of the kids is now trans. 3 of the 4 women have divorced him. Why am I still watching this show that's like playing it out like it's ancient news?
Right.
I'm like,
they need to get back with the times.
It's so far behind, and they will just say, there were probably 2 or 3 episodes of the new season out of 18 that I was like, oh, those were great. And every other episode I was like, it's just they would cut to Robin and Cody talking about, like, Robin, like, oh, I don't know why all of his wives are leaving, and Cody's like, oh, I don't care that all my wives are leaving. Okay. Just over and over and over again. And I'm just like, come the fuck on. But there was like one really great scene where Janelle, she's the one in orange, the sort of heavier set one, where she and Cody have their final sort of the big argument that left them fight, that ended up breaking them up. And, Cody's like, I'm storming out of the house. He's like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you. And she's like, so wait, you're not going to talk to me? And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, then fuck you. And he slams the door. And I'm like,
she said, fuck you?
Oh, yeah. And one of the things that the show has sort of suffered with during the COVID era is like they were filming it themselves. By now, thankfully, we've started to get some crew back in, so we're starting to see some like real moments like that fight that they never would have filmed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So at least there's like some promise that maybe the show is getting a little better, but it is not in my top shows of 2023. Rewatches, Barefoot Contessa and the Pioneer Woman, gotta have some TV, classic cooking. Real Housewives of Atlanta is certainly one of the greatest reality shows. Loved rewatching it again this year. Undercover Boss. I didn't give this one much credit over the years, but I really enjoyed rewatching this, and even some of the episodes of Business.
You rewatched the whole thing?
Yeah. Not the whole thing, maybe, but I might have missed a few episodes here and there, but I watched all the episodes of a business I actually recognized, and then even some that I didn't. it's a good show. You know, there's certainly a level of cringe to it and production influence. Like, tell us your sob story about why you work at Popeyes. You know, I don't care about that part, but there is some good reality moments to it. Search Party, one of my favorite shows of the last couple years. You know, anytime I run out of something to watch, I'll just put on something that I've already seen, and now that's kind of becoming that. Hotel Hell, gotta love it. The Last Man on Earth. Bought this one on DVD, and I've watched 3 out of the 4 seasons, and have kind of died off. But I really enjoy the show, and I'm glad I have it on DVD, and some fond memories of watching it with you back in the Villa Road days.
Oh, yeah.
The Rehearsal, rewatched it this year because I was in anticipation of, any news of a season 2.
Has it been that long?
Oh, yeah. Dying to see a season 2 of this show, and what could possibly come next. Of course, Dance Moms is always on the TV. I did rewatch Nathan For You this year as well, probably after I finished watching The Rehearsal. The Oblongs. I went through a phase of buying, I wanted to buy some old animated DVDs. And so I bought The Oblongs, The Brack Show, and Mission Hill and stuff like that. And
Old Adult Swim show.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually,
how'd the Oblongs stand up?
It was good. Definitely stood the test of time. And Taylor, in fact, enjoyed it. We watched it together and were able to watch the entire thing.
Huh, damn.
And Wife Swap, of course, is some of the greatest early 2000s TV reality you could find. Here's some new shows from 2023. Not necessarily from 2023, but you know what I mean. Below Deck. This was a huge, Below Deck franchise has a fuck ton of shows on it. The other 2 shows are in my top 10, top 15. Below Deck it's a Bravo reality show and just chronicles the people who live and work on super yachts for a season.
Oh, okay.
Lots of drama, lots of sex, lots of, fun moments. And Below Deck, of course, is the flagship series with Captain Lee himself. Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, a new show from Chef Ramsay. This is essentially The Apprentice.
Okay.
But I enjoy The Apprentice. So
Why
it was
Gordon Ramsay in this many shows.
I know.
He has a lot.
Speaking of Gordon, Kitchen Nightmares came back this year. So I rewatched the old Kitchen Nightmares and then kept up with new episodes of Kitchen Nightmares when they came out this year. Gordon is just all over TV. Food Stars the cast of Food Stars are people who have a startup in food. And sort of like this one lady, she's like, oh, I have this really great pasta sauce. And then this other guy is like, I invented a cup that it comes like this and you just add water and now it's soda, And so it's like all these different things that Gordon might invest in. And then he puts them through a challenge and then sends somebody home and yada yada. And at the end, he is going to invest his money into whatever business.
Okay, interesting.
Murdaugh.
That's so small.
The Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal. This is just one of them true crime documentaries about a murder that happened in South Carolina. To be honest with you, the virality of the show outweighs how interesting of a story it actually is. I wouldn't even say that I recommend it, but
I've never
we
even
watched
heard of it, so I don't know how viral it is.
Right. Squid Game: The Challenge came out this year while we were in West Virginia at the lake house. And when this came out, I was so invested in this. I was sincerely standing up in front of the TV screaming. It hit so well at that point. I don't know if you ever even watched Squid Game, but I enjoyed Squid Game, and now essentially they've made a reality show where they just put people and did Squid Game, but obviously without killing them.
It's real?
Yeah, but they didn't kill them, but then the winner would win, what they won on the show, which was like $4.56 million or
what?
Whatever.
That much money?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was insane to watch. Really enjoyed it. There was a lot of controversy surrounding it because it's like, oh, Netflix took the, Squid Game is very much like capitalist, North Korean program, or South Korean program. This is very much like, oh, they tried to turn anything successful into a capitalism scheme and all this. And you've got people in the game, like you're literally competing for $4.56 million.
Yeah, it's competitive
so
as
at
fuck,
some
I'm
point,
sure.
this one guy's like in there playing the game and he's literally like, like throwing up because he's like so stressed that if
Oh
he
my
does
God.
this wrong, and so people are like, this is psychotic, it's like sociopathic to put people through this. But I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was really great. Sweet Home Oklahoma. This is the people who host the I've Had It podcast actually had a TV show at one point, and so I went back and watched it. It's not very good, but it was certainly something to watch. Lula Rich is a documentary series about the LuLaRoe leggings, and LuLaRoe, is a pyramid scheme essentially, and about how it's a pyramid scheme.
Okay.
Big Brother Reindeer Games. This was a spin-off of Big Brother that came out this year solely based on competitions and around Christmas, and it had a great stellar cast. Really enjoyed Big Brother Reindeer Games even more than the season of Big Brother that aired this year, Big Brother 25. Shiny Happy People is a documentary exposing the Duggar family of 19 kids and counting, which of course they've had plenty of controversy over the years. Undercover Underage. This is sort of like a Hansen versus Predator, To Catch a Predator kind of show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where
That's a new
this organization has put up fake profiles all around, but the thing that they do differently is they have people, they don't send nudes, but they have people who are actually like the face of the profile,
So they
who
can
can
get
like
on
send
Snapchat and be like,
Snapchat,
"It's me."
FaceTime them, all of that stuff. And so they've actually led to a lot of arrests through the program because they have, that clout.
Ample evidence,
Love on the Spectrum and
Fuck
not pictured. Love on the Spectrum Australia. Loved both of those. Really enjoyed watching them.
I think when I watched it, you hadn't seen it yet.
I hadn't. Yeah, I had.
I didn't know you watched it. So good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. a lot. I
You
thought
didn't watch
that I would
the
hate
UK
it.
version?
Yeah, whatever the other version is. Love
you
on
gotta
the
watch
Spectrum.
that one,
Yeah,
too.
I've watched both of the whatever you could find on Netflix, Australia, UK, whatever it is, and then like the American version, and I really enjoyed it.
I thought there was a UK version on Netflix. Whatever, I've seen whatever's on Netflix too.
I would like to see more of it, to be honest with you. And from time to time, I do still see some of the participants like come across TikTok.
Me too. I love seeing Abby.
I think that's the one I see.
She's so wholesome.
Yeah, is she like kind of the blonde one?
Yeah, she loves. I think she loves the Little Mermaid or something.
Oh, Abby.
Abby.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Yeah, I know which one you're talking
I
about.
love Abby. Hate the animation girl. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
think so.
She's like, I only want to be with somebody who appreciates animation. And then she had a date with some guy and she really went quick.
Yeah.
And kissed him. It was very awkward.
I do remember that.
And then an episode or two later, she's like, nope,
Yep.
nope, get away from me. I just want to be friends.
I do remember that. I really enjoyed watching it, and it kind of harkens back to my enjoyment of I Think We're Alone Now. Just documentaries about people on the spectrum.
Yep.
And I did watch Your Honor with Bryan Cranston. The first season, certainly good. The second season, couldn't get past one episode, so, wouldn't recommend it. Television that didn't stick this year, Twin Peaks, obviously one of my favorite shows, but couldn't watch it again this year. Tried to. C-Lab 2021 and The Brack Show. I bought both of these on DVD, couldn't watch them.
Wouldn't think they would stand up.
Couldn't watch them. But I'm glad to own them because, I didn't really give them a chance when I was a kid. I'd catch episodes and I'd be like, that's funny. But, to me, that's the Adult Swim programming seemed like the most cutting-edge programming at one time, so I just want to own it.
Yeah. I tell you what I watch sometimes that does stand up to me is Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That one is a good one.
Hilarious.
That one is a good one. And they do have DVDs of that, too.
Recommend it.
Gypsy Sisters. This is a reality show about some trashy women who were gypsies in a small gypsy community, and I want to say Virginia or West Virginia.
Okay.
It was good for a couple episodes, and then I was just like, okay, this is too repetitive and terrible. Biggest disappointments of the year in TV. The new season of The Morning Show, couldn't watch it. I've watched it for a couple years, but now there's such a time between each season that by the time this season came out, I just couldn't give a shit. The Netflix series, really wanted to like this, especially since there's 4 seasons and a 5th one coming out, but I didn't. I
only
just
seen the
didn't
first
like
2.
it. Yeah, I just didn't really like it.
You watched the whole thing?
No, I think we watched maybe the first season.
I liked the first season.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it from the first, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just didn't like it. What's this? Ugly Betty. Another show that, again, had a lot of seasons, and I really wanted to like. The pilot was really good, and then it just fizzled out from there for me. Big Brother 25. the show is just not, the show is failing. And it's sad as a lifelong fan of Big Brother to like watch the series crumble. But I don't know how much longer it'll last, to be honest. The season was the 25th season. It should have been a landmark. It was 100 fucking days long. And it was just, at a certain point, it started out really strong. And then at a certain point, it just absolutely crashed. Just not worth it. Huge disappointment. Bob Odenkirk's follow-up to Better Call Saul, Lucky Hank. This is a terrible show, based on a terrible book and written by Toby from The Office, and it just feels like it's written by Toby from The Office. You know, it's just not good. Bob Odenkirk is Hank, and he's like a disgruntled English professor at a college, and it's just his mundane existence. It's bad. And what I was really disappointed in, The Curse, Nathan Fielder's show, couldn't really even get through one episode. And once it's over, I think I'm going to give it another chance. But
Stephanie and Jesse really like it. They said it was a really slow burn, but by episode 5 or 6, they're like hooked.
Yeah, I want to give it a chance because I really do like Nathan Fielder, but just right from the start, it was... maybe I don't
it
like...
looks like Nathan Fielder a bit did kind of, shit we've done before.
Yeah.
Where he released an episode of the show they're making in the show.
Oh.
An entire episode of like a reality TV show.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I saw the episode of the reality TV show. It seems like a normal reality TV show. But he just released it on his YouTube channel, I think. I think that's pretty neat. I'm like, we've done that.
That is cool. I would like to give it another chance. Like, I think the idea sounds nice, and like, a lot of people do seem to be enjoying it, but just for me right now, it was disappointing. And now we're on to the top 15. Number 15, this is a really, really recent addition. Just started watching this 3 days ago, and it already made it to the top 15.
Jesus.
I really held off from putting it higher because this really fired me up. 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. We happened to catch a piece of this over at my mom's house, and I decided to watch the season that had Big Ed. You might remember him. Here comes a picture. That's Big Ed.
Oh, from the meme? Yep.
And this is baby girl Lisa. I loved this season. So before the 90 days, the shtick of this spinoff is that this is Americans who are in relationships with international people who then travel abroad to visit their partner overseas. Whereas 90 Day Fiancé is people who are already engaged bringing their international person over on a visa, and then they have to decide.
They're just random
to get
people,
married
right?
In 90 days. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. In both?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so I really enjoyed this before the 90 days, getting to see these couples. I mean, two of the people on the show are two of the participants are flat out being catfished. One guy ends up going to the Ukraine like 3 times over the course of the season and gets stood up like almost every time, pretty much every time that he goes to the Ukraine to meet this girl. Big Ed travels to the Philippines to meet Rose and then like it offends her because he's like, you should shave your legs and your breath stinks. And she's like, well, I have an ulcer and like all this nonsense. And like, he has to like take a bath outside by pouring water over his head, and his father-in-law is there with him, like bathing with him. Like it's really fascinating. Baby girl Lisa is over in Nigeria dating Usman, and like that's such a huge like culture shock to them. Fascinating show, and I can't wait to watch more of it. I would bet that this will be either at the same place on the list or much higher next year. Below Deck Down Under, this is the Australian spin-off of Below Deck. Not much I can say about that other than I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the season. American Idol. This really surprises me, but Taylor and I decided randomly to give American Idol a shot this year, and I really, really enjoyed it. I was able to binge the entire season without having to like wait a week in between it, and I would recommend it. Like I really enjoyed watching it. I grew up watching American Idol, and it feels the same, even though it's like a revival. It's different people. I really enjoyed it, and I really think that Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie make a great panel. Number 12, Somebody Somewhere. This is an HBO series. starring that Bridget Everett is the comedian there. The series has so much heart. She's kind of lost her place in the world, and she's looking for a place, and she like reconnects with this guy from her high school, and they hit it off and become friends, and it's a really sweet show. Really enjoyed watching it. There's not really a way to describe it better than what I just did. I don't know if you heard about this. Number 11 on the list, Jury Duty.
Yeah, I've seen most of it.
Yeah.
I'm not done with it.
I enjoyed it. I just think it took me a minute. The creativity of it is beyond. I just think like the execution could have been a little better in terms of it.
Pretty fun. I have no.
But I really
complaints about
enjoyed it.
I just don't watch too much TV, and it kind of
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to it at some point, but I just don't give TV the time.
Yeah. I love the idea of doing something like that where everybody's in on it except for one person. I mean, I think
pretty
that's
fucked
fantastic.
up, hilarious.
It's really entertaining, and the very last episode of the season is them explaining how they did it and like showing it behind the scenes and all that stuff. It was really interesting. I just
It reminds me, the court case they have reminds me a lot of the court case of Tim Heidecker,
oh yeah,
which of course I've seen the entire thing. Hilarious.
Yep. I definitely recommend it overall. People are like, oh, they should do a second season of this. I'm like, no, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't.
Why?
It was just, you could only do that once.
Probably.
You could only do that once.
You could definitely find out.
Maybe something else.
I thought the man who they found a trick was really good.
Oh, yeah, he was great. He was great.
Too wholesome for his own good.
Maybe you could do a similar idea, but I don't think you could completely repeat with Jury Duty.
I really like the guy who's like really off and like into gadgets and stuff and needs a gadget for everything.
Yep.
He's hilarious.
Really wholesome. Really enjoyed the show. Maybe should have put it higher, but there are some shows I enjoyed more this year. What can I say? Number 10, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader
That
making
beat
the
out the
team. Yeah, lot of seasons of this. I'm a slut for reality TV. This is pretty much just Dance Moms, but for adults. It's the audition process of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleading team, and really enjoyed watching that this year. I don't give a shit about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't give a shit about cheerleading either, but the auditioning process and also just seeing the stadium that they work in is just like from a venue, from like a person who works in a venue. I would watch it and be like, damn, I'm like, that's a big meeting room.
Yeah.
Just like watching this shit, I'm like, I wonder what room they're in right now, and whether, just ridiculous nonsense like that. But really enjoyed watching it. Number 9, How To with John Wilson. The final season came out. I really enjoyed this show. The third season kind of adds some questions about, you've kind of imagined this has always been documentarian, but then like in one of the episodes he reveals that he faked one of the scenes, and then you're like, oh, and it kind of starts making you question it like that. But Nathan Fielder and anything he's attached to, I think, is genius, except for the curse right now. So obviously had to include How To with John Wilson on the list. Number 8, Airline. This is a reality TV show from the early 2000s that focuses on, there's 2 different versions. Airline US focuses on Southwest Airlines employees at the airport, in the plane, stewardesses, that kind of shit, working at the airport. And also the UK version, which is EasyJet Airline. Really fascinating show, lots of drama, real world drama in terms of like, oh, this man, this old man on a flight absolutely shit himself and is covered in diarrhea. So they made an emergency landing. They bring him here. And now the gate staff is like helping him wipe his ass before he can get on the next plane.
Oh, God.
Really fascinating.
That's
stuff.
fascinating, yeah.
Like people showing up and they're like, they showed up late for their plane, so now their plane's gone and they're throwing a fit and like, can't you do anything? Like, oh, I hate Southwest Airlines. I'll never fly Southwest again. That kind of drama. Very interesting.
That'd be interesting for me, especially being in airports as much as I have been recently.
Oh, yeah. Number 7, Claim to Fame. Really enjoyed this show, hosted by Kevin Jonas and his unfamous brother Frankie. The show is a group of people move into a house and they're all related to a celebrity, and they're trying to figure out who they are related to, and like kind of the last man standing wins. And like, for example, you see like in this like sort of front row, there's that girl in pink, and then standing right next to her, that's Neil deGrasse Tyson's son. So like, he's in there. He's one of the first ones to go, and they you play challenges, they win clues, and then at the end of every episode, a person gets the power to guess somebody. They choose who they're gonna guess. They call them up there, and they're like, oh. I think you're Neil deGrasse Tyson's son, and if they're right, that person goes home, and if they're wrong, the person who guessed wrong goes home, and has their person revealed.
Anybody else in here I might recognize?
Like there's she's kind of hidden, but you see, so there's like the two hosts in the center, and then there's this black man next to him, and then right there, that lady in blue with the blonde hair. That's Tom Hanks' niece, and she...
Sure.
The reason I saw this, the reason I even started watching this was because this clip went viral of Tom Hanks' niece being the first one to go home, and when she's caught, when they, like, call her out, she's, like, packing up her stuff in the house, and she's like, I didn't even get to do any challenges. Like, why would they make the clue a bench? Like, it's obviously Forrest Gump. Like, she's, like, throwing a fit. She's like, I just wanted to do challenges, and I'm Tom Hanks' niece. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, God.
Really fun. Definitely recommend it. Number 6. And it does have a level of, like, Big Brother to it that I wasn't expecting. Like, there is, like, some interesting strategy that people employ on the game that I really wasn't expecting.
Has it ended?
Yeah, there's 2 seasons now.
Okay.
Number 6, The Righteous Gemstones. Another season.
Things.
Really enjoyed the new season. It didn't. We'll notice at the end, but this is actually the exact same place that The Righteous Gemstones was last year. So it held right on to its place. Number 5, Enlightened, Laura Dern. This show was written by Mike White. You can see him there too, the guy who wrote The White Lotus and also School of Rock and all that nonsense. This is a great show.
Wait, the guy in the white?
Yeah.
That guy wrote School of Rock?
Yeah.
Fucking
Ned.
Dewey?
Yeah. Or whatever his name is.
Ned, yeah, like, no. That's who he impersonates.
Yeah.
I didn't know he wrote that. He
Oh,
wrote
yeah.
White Lotus?
Oh, yeah. That man's a genius. You would never know. You'd never know.
You literally would never know.
Enlightened, it was his show, like, this was before White Lotus. This was, like, maybe 2010, maybe, or 2011. Laura Dern's character experiences a mental breakdown and then has to, like, go back to work and reclaim her place in, obviously she's shamed. But she's like sleeping with her boss or whatever, and then she has a mental breakdown when he wants to break up with her, and she like has a very public breakdown at work and goes, sentenced to anger management therapy, and then she comes back and like the entire landscape has changed. She's sent down to work in the basement, that kind of shit. Number 4, The Other Two. Enjoyed this show a lot last year too. They aired a final season this year, wrapped everything up nicely. The 3rd season was a little weaker than the others, but I still enjoy it. These two are the siblings of somebody who goes viral. Their little brother goes viral, a la like Justin Bieber, and now 3 seasons in, they're like struggling with their own careers that they've put together, and now that they're related to somebody famous. Below Deck Med, my favorite of the Below Decks, Captain Sandy. Really enjoy Captain Sandy. Binge watched. This is the only Below Deck that I've actually seen every season of. Watched all 7 seasons, and I'm currently watching the 8th season as it's airing. Really enjoy it, and the Mediterranean is just a beautiful location to be on a yacht. Number 2, Barry, another show that aired their final season this year. It was very good. It was a very good season. Very much enjoyed it, and it definitely tied things up well. Barry was a hitman who turned to acting, and now his past is caught up with him yet again, and he's got to find a way out of it. And he does, folks. He finds a way. But this one is what would be maybe shocking. Number 1, my favorite show from 2023.
Survivor.
1,000 Pound Sisters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This was a huge jump for them, too. If I remember correctly, they were like 13 last year. Number 1, 1,000 Pound Sisters. As this show is coming out, any episode that I watch of this will make me cry.
Really?
I love this family and these characters so much. Like, now we're at the point of like divorce. Tammy's lost so much weight. She's healthy, or she's finally had her surgery, and now Amy's like getting divorced, and it's literally like we're seeing
Is Tammy the big fat one?
Yeah. And Amy, Amy's had 2 kids now, and so she'll, she's having problems with her husband being so lazy and like being controlling, and like she's not allowed to go anywhere unless she takes the kids, but then he won't take care of the kids and like all this nonsense. And so one of the episodes that just aired recently that got me crying was just watching them fight. Like this like fight comes to a head, and her sister steps in, Amanda, and she's like, you need to give her her fucking debit card, and we're going out shopping right now. He's like, I ain't giving her shit. I can't watch the kids by my... He's an idiot though, so like I'm giving him too much credit. He's more like, I can't do it with the kid. He's like mentally retarded. But that's what he's saying is like, I can't take care of the kids when she's not here. And she's like, you got 5 seconds to give her her debit card. And Amy says, no, he's got 5 seconds to pack his shit and get the fuck out, because I'm done. And I'm literally like, I think it's just like, I don't know. Like,
did he get out?
No.
Oh.
Tammy had to call the law, and that's where the cliffhanger ended.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, she's on the phone. She's like, I don't know what to do. He's screaming. He won't leave and give her her credit card, and he's refusing to let her leave. Wild. Any episode of this show could make me tear up. I love these
I tried
two.
to watch it when it first started coming out. I couldn't get through an episode.
Oh, yeah. It's worth it to me. I love these women. I love seeing their journey, and I've loved watching, to me, that they feel like a member of the family in the same way that, like, Angry Grandpa did.
Really? Didn't they start on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
If Tammy died, which she almost has multiple times, if Tammy died, I think I would cry the same way I did for Angry.
Oh my God. Where are they from? Kentucky?
Kentucky, yeah. Really enjoy the show, and probably pretty shocking that would be, especially since last year was Better Call Saul. Now this year it's 1,000-Pound Sisters. Like, it's a huge change.
The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders beat out jury duty.
Yep. What can you say?
Man's a slut for reality TV.
I really am. So these are the comparisons over the years. The first year with 2021 journal data, that was like actual mentions in my journal. But then once it's based on actual shows that I think are good, some interesting changes. Barry went
Sister
up.
Wives went from 3 to 8. From 21 to 2022. And then now it's not even listed.
Now not even in the top 15.
Oh my God!
Wow, you're right. We've been watching it fall off. Damn, when you put it like that, you really do see it falling off.
Yeah.
Damn. And some shows, obviously, that I've never even seen that cracked into the top 10 this year. What can you do? The other two went from number 9 last year to number 4.
King of the Hill didn't even make it from 2021 to 2022.
I know. What can you do? But folks, hopefully I'll do this again next year. I'd like to in 2024 continue to journal and actually put together some, back to 2021, like my sexual data too. That was really interesting data to have in the presentation. So I'd like to get back to that point again someday. But until then, folks, enjoy 2024 and stay moat.
Stay moat.
I'm just a small town boy from Appalachia.